Hi everybody, and welcome to a video about why we made an expansion in the first place. So Paul, why did we make an expansion?
Well, we had such great fun playing the original game, but we wanted to think about a versus game, a competitive game, where instead of playing just against the game system, which you do when we're playing cooperatively in the original game, how about we replace the system with another player?
Yeah, that was our initial thought, and then we got into the idea of like it could be like the Romans, and so obviously that's where we're at. But the other thing is we had another idea as well. At the same time, we were like, oh, but what if we get all the characters that we missed and all the locations that we missed? Could we, like people on BGG were like, could you set up like a scenario where you got Paul in Ephesus, or going to Antioch, or the the Council of Jerusalem or something like that. And could you set up a little scenario? And so we thought, oh yeah, that'd be really cool. And we had an idea of like having the missionary journeys with
maybe
Paul.
have a little mini campaign or something going on. So you could maybe play that solo. You could be Paul going to different locations, following his journeys along.
These were like two like big ideas basically. And then we were like, but then it came to the crunch. How are you actually going to make it so you do these expansions? And at the time, it was literally just an expansion. You've got the game, here's another cards that go into the same game. And it's like, but how do we release the actual box and things like that started to be a consideration. Do you make a box and it's half empty was one idea, and then you do the next expansion, you fill in the other half of the box. And I was like, that sounds a bit crazy. Yeah, Paul assures me this has been done by other games.
Yeah, that's me, but I don't like it.
But luckily, I had an epiphany, which was, hold on, if we want half of the game to involve the church leaders, and all the old stuff that we had, but with new places and new things, and then we want to have an opposing team, you'd have enough people potentially from the original game in the new box to oppose the Romans, and essentially you'd have then the ability to have a two-player game where you could just buy the expansion or the standalone sequel as it is now with these things.
Yeah,
there's going to be parts where you can integrate with the base game, but you don't need it. You can play the Roman game versus the people who are inside the box, who are then available to play the cooperative game still. And so
we're looking at we think we can have as many people in the world that allow us to have, say, 3 people playing co-op, similar to the original game, where you're playing together against the system, trying to spread the gospel, but also in the same box have the Roman oppression game.
Now we're going to talk more in another video about how these two games integrate in all sorts of interesting ways, and the thematic elements that we're talking about. So join us in those videos.